is like my little cup holder right there. Can you guys see? Yeah? Okay. However, the company is actually redesigning their tip, so I don't know if we'll be able to use that as a holder. Okay, so it's really important on how you sit, right? So you want to sit where you're not like hunched over. So that if you are too high and you're hunched over, you're going to get tired really fast. Okay, so make sure that you're comfortable in a way where you can work and you can still keep your back straight, you know, because if you want your posture, you don't want to hunched over because that's how you get really bad backs.
Can you send us that video? Because this holding this and trying to pay attention to everything she's doing.
And you can watch the monitor right there too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get close up in a minute so you can see.
But I know,
Yeah,
Alan's
'cause
brilliant.
This is not going to work out for me. I can't be videoing and trying to learn
Okay.
it.
Yeah, no, he'll send it to you.
Okay.
You've got
Okay,
their info.
awesome. Thank
So, when you start on the face, you always want to have a pattern. This is my pattern, and there's a reason why. So you want to start at the corner of the lips, and the reason why is because this is where you've got thick tissue, and it's not as sensitive as the other parts. So you want to start right here, and as far as how to hold the device, let it just rest on your hand. I'm not holding it. If you hold it too low here, your hand is going to get really tired because you're gripping it, right? And you're not going to be really cognizant of like how tight you're holding it. Not only that, but you've got more control at the top. You know, if it just sits on top of your hand, you're much more relaxed, and so your hand won't cramp up, and neither will your body. Okay, so again, the device, just let it rest on your hand right here. And then, so the device has just one button, a slow and a fast. So whenever you start on anyone, you always want to start off slow, and that's basically just to test it out, for them to show them what it feels like, okay? And then you tap their skin like a few times, and then like, Linda, this is how it is, okay? So I'm gonna start. Oh, the other thing that's super important is that your stretch, make sure that you put your fingers together and you stretch out like this. You don't want to do that. So Linda, what's more comfortable for you? This stretch or that stretch?
The first one.
Okay, why is that stretch more comfortable for you?
I'm not sure why, but
Okay, I'll tell you
you're
why.
going with
Yeah.
the stretch of the skin. Like,
Well, there's several reasons why it's more important. So when I'm stretching this way, Linda feels comfortable. She feels like I'm comforting her, right? So, and also it gives me it's good for her and it's good for me. The reason why it's good for me is because I'm still relaxed. When my fingers are together, I'm still relaxed. I'm basically stretching with the palm of my hand versus like my fingers. If I stretch this way, for one, I'm hovering over her nose and her lips, which is uncomfortable for Linda, for your client. It's, she's not going to tell you. She just thinks that that's just how it's supposed to be. But she's going to think like in her head, like, wow, that was kind of an uncomfortable, experience. And also the reason why you don't want to stretch this way is because it takes effort to spread your fingers apart. And when you do that, you're going to get your hands tired really quickly. You know what I mean? And it's not a good stretch at all. You know what I mean? So you want to...
that's what I was going to say.
What?
Exactly what you just said. having your hand over the face, and yeah, it's way better the other way.
Okay, good. I'm glad we agree. So it's really important how you stretch the skin for her. For me, my concern is always how comfortable it is for my client. because it's a whole experience, right? Even though it's a treatment that's going to yield great results, you want that experience to be really good for her, so she can come back, right?
And you don't do the alcohol before you do that?
Well, the alcohol, like I know you can, but I know that she didn't have any makeup
And
on.
no numbing cream or anything?
Not for 0.25. For like when I'm training, I don't use I don't use numbing. The reason why is because I'm gonna do one side of her face, and then you're gonna do her other half. Okay, so I'm gonna always do at least one side, and then the other person does the other half. Okay, so
Now, would you typically use numbing cream on? Because I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos and everybody uses numbing cream.
you probably shouldn't have watched any of those videos because you're gonna get confused.
Okay.
My technique is very different than theirs.
Okay.
Like very different.
I think that's the only thing that they did like is they use numbing cream.
Yeah. Well, you don't not for everyone. Everyone's very different, Jennifer. You know, like what is sensitive for her may not be for for Sandra.
Gotcha.
Do you know what I mean? So it all
'Cause it
depends.
didn't hurt. To me, it didn't hurt.
Right.
It
So I
wasn't-
didn't use numbing on you.
Okay.
You know, it's the same technique. You know. However, when they don't do something when you don't need to, because that's gonna waste time. Because when you numb someone that doesn't need it, it's gonna take like 20, 30
Yeah,
minutes.
exactly. They're
Does that
like,
make
we
sense?
numb them and then we put them in the waiting room for 45 minutes. It's
Yeah,
like,
it
well, I don't
doesn't-
think I have that much time.
Exactly. So
But,
I
okay.
don't numb unless
makes
I
sense.
know that person really is super sensitive.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
So, but I mean, like some people are like, oh my gosh, it's no big deal. But my time is really limited. You know what I mean? And also, let's just say if she does numbing, sometimes the practitioner, like I'm very OCD, so I make sure that I wipe everything off. Not everyone's gonna be that diligent, and you don't want any traces of numbing to get into the skin. You know what I mean? So you just want to wipe everything, because what's really the one thing that you want to absorb into the skin is the serum. It's the growth factors from the bone marrow stem cells, which. So, and I'm gonna start slow. You can close your eyes and just relax. I'm gonna stretch. I'm gonna tap the skin. How's that, Linda?
Oh, fine.
No big deal, right?
No,
Right? Would you even want to like
No,
waste 20,
not at
30
all.
minutes of time numbing when you don't need to? Right?
No.
Okay, so you always want to test, right?
Okay.
Okay, so here we go. And when I am touching her skin, like just tapping, notice how I'm going in very gentle. Everyone that I've trained, mostly everyone, they're like, okay. They're like, okay, don't do that. Like, that's going to be annoying. So you want to test. It's kind of like when you're testing out the waters, right? And like how cold it is. You're gentle, like you're just gliding in there, right? So do this. So now I have it on fast speed. And I'm stretching, and then here it comes. How's that?
Mm-hmm.
Great. So when I actually tap, I tap at least 30 times in one place, consistently. And the reason why is because you want to be really thorough with it. Like those videos you saw, I bet they were like this, right?
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Just take that and like dispose of it, because I don't work that way. Here's the thing. It actually, like when you do 1, 2, 3, it's, to me, that's not thorough enough. You know what I mean? When I am actually keeping the device low and I'm gently tapping her skin, I'm creating more channels into the skin. And then once I'm finished with that area, I move on to another area. I don't really go back to that area unless Linda is okay and she's like, hey, can you go over that area around my lips? Because I really want to, focus on that. And then I'm like, sure, no problem.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
But I tap it at least 30 times in one place.
Okay.
See how she's got that nice pinkness? And you want to do it on dry skin. Then you apply the serum. And the reason why you want to do it on dry skin is because you want to create the channels and then apply the serum. The serum will actually absorb much better into the skin.
So dice que lo que quiere hacer, primero lo quiere hacer en la piel seca para que puedas como simular lo que tiene, los tienes para dentro de la piel que tienes y luego para que se pueda absorber mejor el suero.
So my pattern is that right here, I'm gonna go above the lip and then towards the nose, up here, and then underneath the eyes, okay? And then I go back in there. And the reason why is that I'm working my way out, because right there I'm stretching, right? And then I'm working out. If I start on the outer part of the face, I will have to touch that area that I just worked on
With
to
your glove.
stretch. And that's going to be uncomfortable. You know what I mean? So again, you want to be mindful of their comfort zone and basically just be really just logical, like logistics. So I'm going to go above her lip. And you can come in a little closer to stretch right there instead of like here. The reason why I'm out here because of this area. So when I'm going above her lip, I'm still keeping my fingers together, but I'm just being much more localized. Okay? Again, stretching is super important. The reason why is because it actually it's not as painful when you stretch their skin. It's kind of like waxing. The other reason why you want to stretch, like a really good stretch, is because it increases the surface area, so it allows better penetration of the needles into the skin. Which gives you much better results. And also, if they've got a wrinkle, you want to stretch that out and work on it. You know what I mean? Do you understand the physics? Yeah, okay.
I got cold sores after my treatment. I had just finished with one, then I did the treatment, then I was like, dang, I should have kept taking my medicine knowing that I was going to get another one.
Yep, it's always good to, if anyone has a history of cold sores, to definitely take the antiviral, okay? Or do you have like, I'm not going to do your lips, but around it, sometimes people are much more prone to it. Are you prone to it? Do you want me
You don't get cold sores, Mom, do you?
No.
Okay,
You're
perfect.
lucky.
But you know, just for a safety measure, it's good to like have them do it anyway. You know what I mean?
And what do you recommend, like the L-lysine? Or
Lysine is great. So now I'm gonna go towards the nose. See how I'm keeping it low? Like I'm not doing this. So what feels better, Linda? If I do like that?
No.
Or yeah, which is more comfortable for you?
The way you were doing it,
Yeah.
for sure.
And this is why I don't numb the models, because she can feel exactly what I'm doing, you know? So, also, you can always move. That's why it's always good to have like space back here, because you can actually move, different ways. Like right here, I'm going to stretch this way, and see how I left this area? I'm going to stretch. I can work on the opposite side, right? Or I can do this. But for me, like right here, it's going to be more comfortable for me. I'm going right underneath the eyes. And when you work on areas that are very sensitive, just lighten your pressure. But it's the same technique though. Are you okay, Linda?
Mm-hmm.
You basically want to create this nice, even, consistent flow. You know what I mean? Does that put you sort of in like a trance, Linda?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's kind of relaxing, actually.
It's all about the technique. You know what I mean? If you get like really choppy and all that, then it'll be hard for Linda to like, you know, relax. So right here, I'm going to stretch up like that. Again, with my fingers together. And then I go back the areas that I worked on and do that. See the pattern? This is called the oral commissors, which is actually the corner where the lips meet. And then I go above the lip towards the center of the face, which is towards the nose, then right underneath the eyes, and I work my way out. Now, I'm going to continue starting right here where I left off. And this is really good. You can actually see where you left off because of where the pink, where she's been flushed, right? So it's easy. So even when I'm moving, I'm still keeping the device nice, rhythmic flow. I'm not like, you know, doing that and then I'm not stopping and then doing that, right? You want it to overlap. The other thing is I train on the face because the face is, there's so many contours and it's the hardest part to train. That's why once after you learn how to do the face, you can do any part of the body and it's going to be a lot easier because most of our body's flat. Okay? And make sure that the tip is always 90 degrees where it's flat to the surface of the skin. So like right here, when I'm working on the periorbital, I'm tilting it. I'm following the contour of her face, right? Like right here, you don't want to do that because you're working on the edge of the needle and that's going to be irritating for her, okay? So again, you always want to make sure it's flat. And you've got 25 needles here, so make sure you maximize those needles, okay? I can do a whole face in 15 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, when I'm training, it's going to take longer. But when I'm working on my client, I can do her face in 15 minutes. And when she does the neck, then that's like 30 minutes. And that's $550. Okay? Now, that's different, you know, some people charge like, you know, $450 or something, but, you know, for the face, you don't want to go lower than $250.
That's kind of what I've been telling my clients, $250.
Yeah, you should do like a promotional price. It's a treatment. It's not a facial. You know what I mean? It literally changes the composition of your skin and you're increasing your own collagen. Now, I mean, that's, you know, people do Botox and fillers all the time, but they're not doing anything for their skin. You know, Botox is a neuromodulator, which actually just, paralyzes the muscle. And you got to do that like every 3 months. And that's expensive. And then fillers are great, but then that's just synthetic filler, only, and that's only in certain places. This, you're helping your client build collagen all over her face and her neck.
Can you do it right after Botox or before or any time? It doesn't matter.
No. So if they do Botox, it depends. If they did it like 2 days before, you gotta wait like 10 days.
Okay.
Okay? However, you can do it on the same day, but you just gotta do this treatment first, and then Botox and filler afterwards.
Or wait 10 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because a lot of people work out of a med spa, and they don't want to come back, so if they want it done on the same day, just have them do this procedure first. Do you know why?
Because probably something about the settling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You want that solution to settle for like at least 10 days. But if you do this first, it doesn't matter. Then they can do Botox right afterwards. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
On the order of like how you do things?
Yeah.
Okay. So with this, you can also, it helps with hyperpigmentation. It helps with acne scars. It helps with wrinkles, lines.
Can you do it on people that have open zits or open pimples? Like,
It depends on how much they have, but give it like maybe a few days for it to like kind of heal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, how about sunspots? Can it affect those at all?
Yeah, that's hyperpigmentation. That's the discoloration. That falls into the discoloration.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay, turn. So when you're doing this, have them turn their head and stretch this. So Jennifer, after I finish this side, I'm gonna have you work on the other side, okay? So Linda, on a scale of like 1 to 10, what's the number? 10 being the most painful.
Well, the last thing that I had done was I was tattooing, so I would say like maybe 2.
Oh, that's nothing, right?
No.
It actually feels good. A lot of people said it feels like a massage.
No, it's no big deal at all.
Yeah.
now, when would you use the different sizes of needles? Like,
So for your mom, I would do a 0.25. See, look at the beautiful pinpoint bleeding that she's getting. Look at that flush. And this is a 0.25.
okay.
Okay? She's gonna get great results with this. Don't think that the more intense, the longer the needles, the better results. That's actually not true at all.
What would you use the longer needles for?
I
'Cause
only,
we got all these different size needles and in the
you only
kit.
have 2.
Oh, just 2?
Yeah.
0.05, right?
Yeah.
0.25?
Yep.
Okay. And what would you use the 0.05 for?
I would use that like maybe on your mom's like maybe 4th session.
4th? Okay.
Yeah. And for someone but you always want to start off with 0.25, remember. Let's just say like for Alan's skin, because his men's skin is like thicker.
Yeah.
I will still start off with a 0.25 on him.
Okay.
Because I don't know how he's going to respond, right? But then after I see how his skin heals, then I'll do like a 0.5 the second session.
So that's 0.5 is longer.
It's longer, the depth.
Gotcha.
The depth.
So what about like me? I've had 1 session
I would still do 0.25 on you.
forever.
I would do it at least the next few sessions.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing's forever.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just confused as to when and why you would go with a longer needle.
Well, you're going to be the professional. Remember, you're going to see everyone's skin. You're going to assess it. That's why you never work on anyone's skin unless you have a consultation first.
Tienes que tener, dice que nunca tienes que trabajar en la piel de una consulta para ver qué tipo de
So I'm still confused. I'm still confused at when you would use a deeper needle for what reason.
So the deeper needle is if someone has like thicker skin,
Okay.
okay? But the thing is that not everyone will need a longer needle, okay? So like I said, and it's gonna be different for everyone. You know what I mean? Like for my personal skin, I go back and forth.
Okay.
Yeah. But for someone like Alan, I would do 0.25, and then I know that his skin would get great results doing a 0.5 because of the thickness of his skin. Does that make sense?
Gotcha.
Yeah. And right here, so if she's doing the neck, then what we'll do is like we'll go all the way down, but we won't do that today just because of like, you know, saving time. But usually when I always do the face and neck together. You want to have it where you're doing both face and neck, because like I did just the face before, and a lot of women like, oh, I don't want my neck, but then the neck is part of the face, right? So now they don't even have an option anymore. I'm always going to do face and neck together, because the skin on the neck is thinner than on our face. So when someone is, you know, let's say like the budget or something like that, you know, if that's what is keeping them from doing their neck, give them like a discount, you know what I mean? Because you're still using one vial of serum. This one vial of serum is actually enough for the face and the neck. And then, you know, you're still using the same tip, right? Because you're not going to change out a tip. So, but the only thing that you're going to, you know, take that extra time on is your time, which on the neck, it'll take me another 10 or 15 minutes. So if that's the case, usually before I would do the face at 350 and then the neck I would add 200. Now I just do it together. And if someone buys a package, let's say they want to buy a package of like 4 and they pay like, you know, all up front, then I'll give them like, you know, a discount like $50 off, which would be like 500, you know, or like 485 or 495. It totally depends on your demographics of, you know, where you're located, you know. So, but you know, getting 250 is still good because, you know, the tip, I mean the tip is $25. Your vial of serum is $25 for the pro. It's $39 for the MD, and then the mask is about $8, and that's really all I use.
Sí. Ah, dice que normalmente la cara son como
So like $78 for the more expensive serum, and the tip and the mask.
y la cara son 350.
Now, do we get the mask from you, or can we just get those at the store?
Oh no, you get it through me.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically anything that you need, you just text me. You know, that's what Marissa does. She needs something and she's like, okay, I need this much, you know. Yeah. Like last night I got a text from one of my clients at like 9:30. She's like, oh my gosh, I need the full size MD serums #1 and #2 ASAP. Right? And it was funny. I'm like, okay, when I can totally order that for you, but do you need it next day delivery, or do you need it for 2 or 3 days? And she's like, okay, my clients are coming in Wednesday, so how about 2 days? And I'm like, okay, you got it. And so she just texted me her credit card, and that was it. I got it out for her right away. It's very simple.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah. Right here, turn her head. You always want to turn her head. For one, she's stretching for you, right? Okay. And for two, when they turn their head, they're a little bit more comfortable. You know what I mean?
Dice que también es bueno que se pongan así.
And then I can work this way. It's really important for them to wear sunblock even more after they do this for their skin. And like I work on a lot of men, and a lot of them are FedEx pilots and executives. That's my clientele in Memphis because that's where the you know, FedEx World Headquarters is, so I work on a lot of FedEx people. You know, the guys are very, very consistent. They come and see me every time I'm in town, and it makes a difference with their care in between sessions. So the number 1 and 2, it's really good to get that full size, so they can actually use it in between treatments, because that actually will help improve the results even more.
I've been using mine. I stopped using all my other skincare, and I've been using my 1 and 2. And I loved it, but the last like day or two, my skin seems like it's kind of changing a little, getting a little dry.
It's okay.
No, is that okay?
Yeah.
And I've been using sometimes moisturizer on top of that.
It. That's perfect. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it could be too like my makeup.
Yeah.
You know, I don't
Keep
know,
using it, but you can actually add the a moisturizer on top. What that does in there, it has retinol in there too, and also when you use it, it actually helps increase the cell turnover.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wake up in the morning and my skin, oh my gosh, it feels like I feel more awake. Like,
Okay.
I like it.
Could you tell Nadia that? So Nadia, she's been using the number 1 and 2 after she got her session. So
Yeah,
tell
in the
her,
morning I just feel like I look at my skin and I feel like, you know how when you wake up you like look tired? Like I feel like I feel really like refreshed, and my
Dice que también es bueno eso porque dice que después de su tratamiento ella estaba usando el 1 y el 2, pero dice que
like I feel like I just had a facial or something, you know?
No, that's great. Your skin looks really even toned. Do you have any makeup on?
I have powder on.
Yeah, but that's it, right?
But my makeup kind of went on, like feeling kind of dry a little bit today, so I don't know.
Are you drinking enough water?
No.
Yeah. So a lot of it is diet too. Drink water. You know, I drink like tons of water.
Yeah. Maybe the crab at Captain Jack's didn't help last night for our anniversary. We had crab like this.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever been there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our
My wife
price
took me
on
there
that
many
is
years ago.
$125. Do you still have that price sheet?
Big old crap.
So for the pro, it's
give you the menu on the big
$125.
cell.
And then when you sell it, you sell it for
My sister knows
$225,
the
between
owner's son,
$225 and
Jim Haley.
$275.
Jack Haley's son used to play for the Lakers.
The little ones, the small box.
That's the small ones will have you work on the other side. So right here, just stretch, and I can work this way.
Okay.
Remember, you can move, you know what I mean?
And you can go on top of the lips too. If you
Yeah,
want.
just make sure that they're on an antiviral like you. So like we can, it actually helps increases the collagen on your lips. And then right here,
You're gonna go down on the chin a little bit.
yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I always do the neck. So you always want to do the chin underneath. This is the area where you want that skin to be plump and firm,
Yeah.
right?
As you get older, you get that extra.
Jowls, right?
Yeah. Mom, you want to get rid of those?
Yeah, right.
You can.
You can?
Well, I mean, like you can. I mean, there's liposuction, and then there's Kybella. Okay, so you just apply that on, and then I'm finished with this side. Does anyone have any questions?
No, what about the forehead on the top?
The forehead's the last,
Right.
because that's the most sensitive area. After you work on all their skin, they're kind of like desensitized. So even if their forehead is more sensitive, they're not going to tell you to stop.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So that's why you want to work on this area the first, because that's the least painful. Right?
And then, oh, what about the nose?
We do that last. We'll have you work on the other side. So right here, just stretch, and I can work this way.
Okay.
Remember, you can move, you know what I mean?
And you can go on top of the lips too. If you
Yeah,
want.
just make sure that they're on an antiviral like you. So like we can, it actually helps increases the collagen on your lips. And then right here,
You're gonna go down on the chin a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I always do the neck. So you always want to do the chin underneath. This is the area where you want that skin to be plump and firm,
Yeah.
right?
As you get older, you get that extra.
Jowls, right?
Yeah. Mom, you want to get rid of those?
Yeah, right.
You can.
You can?
Well, I mean, like you can. I mean, there's liposuction and then there's Kybella. Okay, so you just apply that on, and then I'm finished with this side. Does anyone have any questions?
Now, what about the forehead on the top?
The forehead's the last, because that's the most sensitive area. After you work on all their skin, they're kind of like desensitized. So even if their forehead is more sensitive, they're not going to tell you to stop.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So that's why you want to work on this area the first, because that's the least painful. Right?
And then, oh, what about the nose?
We do that last.